Hey, how are you guys? It's John Brewer, South Florida's restaurant guy, coming at you with an article I just read that had a really great title. And then once you start reading it, in the words of Van Jones, it was a big nothing burger. So this is from CNBC. It says, Millennials lose taste for dining out, get blamed for puzzling restaurant trend. Clickbait if I ever heard it, right? So basically the key points are saying millennials have been tempering their spending at restaurants more than any other age group. There really aren't many facts in here to back that up. What they do say is that millennials are tending towards independent restaurants more so than the chains. So the TGA Fridays and Chili's and things of that nature are seeing, and he called it a secular decline, which means across the board, everybody's seen a decline. And they've seen an increase in independent operators, smaller business. I'm all for that. So that's a beautiful thing. I don't see that as a bad thing. So Bank of America Merrill Lynch economists studied restaurant spending, and basically they're saying slowing restaurant sales. Now, they're not saying slowing restaurant sales, basically like debt and deficit. When we look at the two different things, debt is what you owe, deficit is the increase or decrease in the spending. And that's basically what's going on here. So what they're saying is there's been our high was in 2011 when restaurant spending among Gen Y was over 10%. And those same Gen Yers now are around 2%. And that's just an increase from year to year. So like I said, the economists have compared spending at big chain restaurants to smaller local restaurants and found a relative weakness in the bigger chains where spending outright declined. For local restaurants, there was a slight acceleration in trend. But since January, there's been a year-over-year contraction in the larger restaurants. They're saying the reason for the slowdown could be that millennials are changing in lifestyle and they get older and they're spending on other things. And of course, this is kind of the first digital generation. So as this group gets older and starts to marry and have kids, it's going to be interesting to see how much more they start to rely on technology. One of the things that's mentioned in this article is the potential or possibility that millennials are ordering their food online. They are accounting in the retail sales. They do account for grocery spending, but for some reason online grocery spending is not being tallied right now. So they said there could be more millennials that are choosing to order their food online. It could just, and what, like there's one woman said, it's unusual to have this type of restaurant slowdown without having the economy slow down broadly. Well, we're seeing the stock market had a good day today, but on a very big kind of a downturn, we're almost going into correction territory here. Well, we've gone into correction, but a recession is a very real possibility. But today was a very positive day, so we'll see how that goes. So Myers, she basically expects spending to be up in discretionary areas like furniture and restaurants, weak in September and August due to the hurricane and Irma and Harvey. And building materials and gasoline boosted by the hurricane should be softer. So basically it's not crazy news. It's just kind of, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's a big nothing burger. The article was a little more, the title, I think, is a perfect example of, people read the title and don't read the rest. Once I started digging in and looking at this, I realized that it wasn't that big of a deal. Basically what they're saying is the growth has decelerated and that millennials, it looks like, are choosing independent restaurants over the larger chains. Now, a guy like this who did this report I found was interesting was they like, from a business perspective, you like the bigger chains. Why is that? Because they have more purchasing power. They can order more of ingredients and get a better price, which increases the profit margins, whereas independents have to be more nimble. And I think that's what people like about it. So I'm happy about this news. I think it's great. I think you're going to see more small businessmen and more smaller concepts out there. And, competition makes for a better product. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in next year we've got so many changes. If you look at some of my other videos, you get the vegan, we've got sea vegetables, we've got the whole animal, whole vegetable, where people are using everything. And there's some really, really exciting concepts, some creative people out there that are getting involved in the restaurant industry, and it's good to see, because it's a big difference between oil painting and a coloring book. And I think sometimes that the TGI Fridays and the Chili's, they're coloring books. And you go to restaurants, you have a good service, good experience. You see the owners. You know the money's going back into the community. You know the food is being prepared with love. Goes a long way. Anyway, I'm John Brewer, South Florida's restaurant guy. Go independent. Go local. Have a nice experience at a nice local restaurant here in Delray. We've got J&J, we've got City Oyster, we've got so many really good places around here. El Camino, Mark Falsetto and all the guys down in Fort Lauderdale, Tim Petrillo, Restaurant Guys, Rodney Mayo, Cleve Mash, Scott Freilich, Lon Dugan. There's so many great restaurateurs in South Florida who are creating such original product. So get your butt out there. Don't go to Chili's, don't go to Fridays, go to these guys. Anyway, take care, everybody. Have a great evening, and I'll see you around.